It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
Well, good morning to you, race fans, and welcome to the front stretch presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Fast-paced white knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs. Get over to Joe's today. Do yourself right with a little indoor kart racing. And Dirk, one of the more unique events is kicking off this coming Tuesday with the Dirt Track Nationals presented by Malvern Bank. Get more information on that at joeskarting.com.
Are they calling it dirt track or slick track?
Slick track, excuse me. Did I say dirt track?
Yes, you did.
Oh, I'm so excited for dirt track season to fire back up again, I guess. The Slick Track Nationals. It's a weekly racing series where Joe's Karting has converted their road course into a slick track, and it's an oval slick track, and it's going to be a point series, and Malvern Bank has put up the purse money for it. A lot of great prizes. Buddy was going through a lot of it with me through email. Make sure you find out more about it, but you were talking about one of the first 40 people are going to qualify to be a part of this thing.
Yeah, well, the first 40 people every Tuesday night, for what they say they're running, like 18 weeks or something, or 15 weeks?
I think it's 12. They run October, November, and December. They take December off because of the holidays. They come back January and February. So it's 4 total months over a 5-month period.
So it'll be about 18 weeks, somewhere around 16, 18 weeks.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, there's no pre-registration, but it's just the first 40 guys that get there get signed up, and they also have to, they're still open for regular business, so I know where I was reading they were going to plan on running like 5 qualifying races, and then for their feature that night, and then they'll have some time for, anybody in the civilian general public that's out there that wants to race a little bit, and then they'll come back and run their second 5 qualifying races, so it's like dual heats, and then they'll run some more of the civilian races, and then they'll run the feature for the night.
joeskarting.com for more information about that. We got a big show lined up for you, and you may have heard some of the background noise. We've got a special guest on the show this morning, Toys for Tots car show organizer, a Marine. And Jose, I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. Is it Jose Lorenz?
Jesus.
It's Jesus.
Jesus. Wow, how did I'm so sorry. Say your last name for me again.
Cars.
My last name is Lessa.
Lessa. All right, I appreciate that. Jesus, talk to us about what you have going on and the fact that it's happening at Nebraska Brewing Company. I'm sold already.
Yes, sir. So October 5th, next Saturday, we're going to have the first annual Toys for Tots car show. Now, I am the coordinator for Toys for Tots down here at Omaha. I fall under our national region, which is at Headquarters Marine Corps up in Virginia. So my job here is to create events, which Omaha is huge when it comes to cars. So we partnered up with Nebraska Brewing Company, and we decided, hey, why not do a car show? It's been crazy. I think I bit off a little bit more than I can chew, but you know how Marines do it. We adapt and overcome, and it's been great. The community has been awesome. But yes, it's going next Saturday, sir, at Nebraska Brewing Company on 108th, sir.
Well, tell me more about your service with the Marines. How long you been in? Where you been?
Yes, sir. I've been in for I just hit 14 years, sir. I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas. Got about 6 years till I retire. I've been all the way from San Diego to Hawaii, and the monitor said, hey, where do you want to go? I said, well, I would love to go to California. He said, all right, great. You're going to Omaha, Nebraska. Never knew where it was, but I'll tell you what, I've been here going on a year, sir, and this is my second year with Toys for Tots, and this community, the state itself, and the city itself is unbelievably giving. So it's been an honor, and it's been great. And this year, being the actual coordinator, I try and make an impact everywhere I go. Just so to give you some numbers, so the audience kind of knows what we're doing. Is last year alone, we helped 20,000 children. We processed close to 50,000 toys. Now this year alone, because of the flood and all the the adverse weather that we've had, we're expecting our numbers to go up anywhere from 55 to 65,000 toys and possibly even 25,000 children. So it's a great program, and it's done well in the city of Omaha, sir.
So you asked for California, and they sent you to Omaha, and Gunny said, "Oorah!"
I did. I tell you what, it's funny. The whole car. So where it came from, right? I actually drive a Corvette. I bought it in Hawaii. I came from Hawaii, and they were like, "Man, you might as well just sell that thing." Hey, I'm holding true. I still got my Vet, and I drive it on the winter. So I know people beat me up for it, but hey, I got to stay strong to it.
It's fiberglass. It won't rust.
What?
That's what I say.
What color is it?
It's so actually I just got a Stingray. It's a black one, and I actually got a surprise for a lot of the community. So if they see me out there, please flag me down, say hi. I'll have memorabilia. I got with B Scene Signs, and he's actually going to do a custom wrap, Toys for Tots, all over the car. It's going to be sweet. So I ask everybody to come out on Saturday and see the product. He does an amazing job. So he's a great guy out in Gretna. So please come out and enjoy the festivities.
We're gonna share your event on our Facebook page, but if anybody wants to search for it, USMC Toys for Tots Omaha NE and the Toys for Tots Car Show. Do you have pre-registration of some of the cars that are going to be out there this coming Saturday?
No, I do not. So we're actually, like I said, this is all for the kids. The kids are going to be judging the cars. The only thing I ask, if there's a big car club that wants to come out, to just reach out to me. My information and my numbers all over the website, because we are expecting, about 45 to 60 cars. But if we're expecting a big car club, we just want to know in advance so that way we can facilitate that. And at the end of the day, this is for the kids. It's going to be judged by the kids, so it's a great cause. And on top of that, the community has come together, and we got about $1,200 to $1,300 worth of gift certificates, items that we're going to be giving, that we're going to be raffling off to the community, and it's going to cost fairly nothing. $1 or $2 gets you a ticket, and we're going to raffle off over about 8 to 10 different things.
Wow.
Like I said, at the end of the day, gentlemen, this is a Toys for Tots giving back to the community as much as we can. We got a lot of free items that we're going to give them out to the community. Got Red Bull that jumped on board, and we're giving out free Red Bulls. We got T-shirts. We got wristbands. This is us just giving back to the community, and at the same time, it's not an obligation. If they want to donate, great, we'll take it. But at the end of the day, we just want to say, hey, we're here. October 1, we kick off the Toys for Tots campaign. We should be getting the proclamation from the mayor pretty soon. So I'm here to make a mark, and I hope we can do that.
Well, I apologize for the rather dumb question, but can I donate toys at this event? If I've got some toys sitting in my basement that are in good condition, I haven't used them. They were old ones from my nieces and nephews or whatnot.
Yes, sir. So the main criteria that we have, sir, is new and unwrapped toy.
Okay.
Yes, you can donate. We're not going to turn anybody away, and that includes to the monetary donations if they want. Again, we're not out there to ask for donations. If they want to donate, absolutely, we will take it. We are going to have a DJ out there, so it's going to be great environment for the kids. And I really want to push that home. Of course, we'll always take the donations, but number one, I want the community to come out and just enjoy the time, enjoy cars, and just have fun, really.
The Marines have been doing this for years, and it's a great cause.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Find out more, USMC Toys for Tots Omaha, Nebraska, Toys for Tots Car Show. Find it on the Front Stretch Facebook page. First and foremost, thank you so much for your service. Appreciate your 14 years in.
One more thing real quick before you go. That you said it's at Nebraska Brewing Company. That's at 108th and Harrison? Is that where that's at?
Yes, sir. That's the Nebraska Brewing Company tap room and brewing. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 108th, and I believe you said Harrison, sir?
Correct. I believe that's where it's at.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's just south of there. It's just down the road from our recording studio. So, yep.
Yes, sir. And I got to shout this out, too. It's right across the street from Rotella's.
Oh.
They're donating some bread, and that bread smells good. So at least come and smell the bread, right?
You've been in Omaha for a little bit, but you've had Rotella's bread, right?
Oh, my God. I went to the store, and I was like, man, they have to be making this somewhere outside Omaha. And the only reason I said that is because I had never seen it before.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, my young Marine's like, hey, man, we got to go try this company. They sell bread. I'm like, all right, let's go. So I meet the owns the bread company, and I'm like, I'm in love with your bread, man. He's like, I'm glad to hear it. So little did I know he's right across the street from Nebraska Brewing Company.
When there's the right breeze, I'll sit at work at 108th and Q, and I can smell that bread. And as a fat kid with a bread addiction, it's torture. It is pure torture.
It is.
And there's a Burger King on the other side of me, so I'm just double screwed.
You're right. But again, gentlemen, thank you so much for even extending a hand out to us, and thank you for supporting Toys for Tots. I really appreciate it.
Hey, let us know in the future if we can help in any way with any future endeavors, all right?
Yes, sir. Take care, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Once again, that is the United States Marine Corps Toys for Tots fundraiser. They're doing a car show coming up this Saturday. You can make sure if you're a friend of Dirk's or mine, it's on our event pages that we're both going, because I definitely want to get out there. I love going out to car shows. I mean, that's just, it's one of the greatest things about living in the Midwest and being American.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to make it. I mean, Saturday's already busy with monster trucks in the morning, and the monster truck show, I think, is at noon or 1, so it's going to be a hustle to get out there and get to that too.
By the way, we're going to be talking to Myranda Cozad coming up in turn number 2.
Monster truck.
Scooby-Doo. She's going to be at the CHI Health Center on Saturday and Sunday, so plan your weekend accordingly. You could go to the Toys for Tots car show during the day, go see Myranda at night. Maybe you see Myranda on Sunday if you go on Saturday.
What's a trivia question we got that we can ask Myranda to answer for us?
We'll have to come up with some. We'll talk to her. We'll get some of the little pieces out of her interview. Maybe something like what's her hometown? What's some of the racetracks that she raced at? What driver got her involved in Monster Jam?
Well, we don't exactly know her hometown. We know the area, but not the exact hometown,
she did say there's a specific area that she mentioned. That's the answer. Okay. But we're going to do that. We'll talk to her in turn number 2, and we'll come up and we'll get you the questions. We're going to have to do them all in turn 4 because we talked to Chad Robb in turn 3, and we forgot to ask any trivia questions. But anyways, it's going to be a big day coming up. Make sure you follow the Front Stretch Facebook page. We shared the event on Facebook, so you guys can follow along with that. And we appreciate everybody tuning in on Facebook Live. But while we got a couple of minutes left in turn number 1, I wanted to talk a little bit about NASCAR and a little bit about some of the stuff that has happened. Silly season's in full swing, Dirk. We got one that we felt we knew was going to happen. No big surprise there. And then kind of one we didn't see coming, but I'm not really surprised the move happened. Let's start with the first one that we're not surprised happened.
Well, Christopher Bell signed the Joe Gibbs satellite car with Levine Racing. I mean, everybody's known that pretty much since about a month ago, I think, that they announced it.
It was basically the line 2 of Matt DiBenedetto's not returning to Levine Family Racing. Rumor has it Christopher Bell's going to be coming up. I mean, it was the logical move for Joe Gibbs Racing and for Levine Family Racing. Thankfully, Matt DiBenedetto landed in a good ride. He's going to be with the 21 at Wood Brothers. Unfortunately, that means Paul Menard is going to be retiring from active operation, although he does plan to race a little bit. He just doesn't have any solid plans or plans on racing full-time Cup Series. So, Matty D to the 21, Christopher LaBelle. Oh, boy. It's going to be a rough day, guys. Christopher Bell to the 95 at Levine Family, obviously, like you talked about, supported by Joe Gibbs Racing. Levine Family was the one that picked up the the technical alliance was the key word years ago with Joe Gibbs Racing when Furniture Row Racing decided they didn't want to foot the bill anymore or foot the hike in the fees that Joe Gibbs Racing was asking for. So they closed up their shop. Martin Truex Jr. moved over to Joe Gibbs Racing, and now Levine Family has picked up that contract, and they're starting to reap the rewards. We've seen Matty D up in the top 10 several times in 2019. I have high expectations for Christopher Bell. Maybe not in the first year. There's a lot more horsepower in these Cup cars than there are in the Xfinity Series, but boy, he's taken to a duck to water in the Xfinity Series.
Well, and he's beaten some Cup drivers in the Xfinity cars. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, like we said, that Levine team, that 95 car, the second half of the year, if they'd had a first half of the year like the second half of the year, they'd been in the playoffs. Plain and simple. They just had a real slow start, but once they got up and rolling, they've been a very competitive. They've been a top 15 car in, week out. A lot of top 10s, a couple top 5s. You know, he led a bunch of laps and almost won Bristol. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what Christopher Bell can do. I mean, you know, if he goes out with maybe a slow start, we can accept that. But by the end of next year, he ought to be up running, you know, where it's at now, or if not better.
Right, absolutely. And the big shocker, I don't think anybody really saw this coming, at least nobody in my party saw it coming, was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. not going to be returning to Roush Fenway Racing in 2020. He is going to be replaced by Chris Buescher, who was coming over from JTG Doherty Racing. According to statements, Jack Roush Fenway Racing says that they have decided to exercise the option to pick Chris up. Now, Chris was racing for Roush in the Xfinity Series for several years, doing pretty well.
Won a championship.
And then he moved up into the Cup Series and has been racing the second car for JTG Doherty Racing. And I'm surprised by this move because Roush isn't typically the kind of a organization that this feels like a firing to me. Like they just said, you know what, it's not working. We're going to move on. And maybe this is the changing of the tides, the changing of the guard, to where that was Jack's way of doing things. He's always a very loyal guy. That was always probably the most common thing that was said about him. Hendrick is a businessman. Joe Gibbs is cunning, and Jack Roush is loyal. Not that any of them aren't. Any of the other ones aren't, but Jack Roush was probably one of the more loyal guys. He'll stick with you through thick and thin. This kind of caught me off guard.
Well, it caught me off guard a little bit. I honestly thought they were going to go back to putting in 3 cars because the car would almost automatically be qualified every race. There's very few full fields. And when it's been, I don't know, a month or 6 weeks ago that there was stuff out that Buescher, was looking at other places and whatnot. And I figured now that he had a few years in Cup and has been running fairly decent, that Roush was where he would go back to. But I didn't see Stenhouse leaving. That part kind of surprised me.
Again, this is one of those where I'm going to say I'm surprised that the move was made, but I'm also not really surprised because Ricky hasn't really been lighting up the world in that 17 car. When you talk about performance, he's made some headlines making people frustrated, but other than that, he just hasn't done a lot in that 17 car, and I don't think that's disparaging on Ricky. I think the writing's been on the wall for Roush Fenway Racing for the better part of
several years,
at least 5, maybe 8. I mean, when Carl Edwards left, you could really begin to see the downfall of Roush Fenway Racing.
But I thought when Stenhouse won a couple restrictor plate races, that it was going to turn around. And Newman stepped in and has been in the chase now, and has really performed well for them. And Stenhouse is still just kind of straggling back there, just kind of showing up. Every once in a while he gets a stage point or 2 somewhere, and, and that's it. Just no consistency at all.
And I think a lot of people expected more. I mean, he came into the Cup Series off of back-to-back Xfinity Series championships. Very dominant in the Xfinity Series, but again, Roush Fenway Racing has really backed up a lot over the last 5 or 6 years. Maybe that has to do with Ricky not being able to develop properly and them not putting enough money into the technical side of it. We heard where teams are spending so much money on engineers and crew chiefs, where Fenway was still spending money on drivers, and that might have hurt them. So maybe this is the move in the right direction. I really hope Chris can do a good job over there. I think that we've always enjoyed talking to him. He's a great interview, nice kid. So Chris Buescher moving over to the 17 car in 2020. No word yet as of Thursday evening when we recorded this. No word on what's going on with Ricky Stenhouse, if he plans on moving into a different ride in the Cup Series, if he's going to go down to the Xfinity Series. Maybe he's just going to focus on his sprint car team.
I see him over in the David Reagan ride. That's where I see him going. Him or Carl Edwards.
Yeah. The other one, NASCAR announced their 2020 start dates or start times for their races. A couple of races got shifted here and there. Ones that matter to us, Kansas Speedway has been a Mother's Day Saturday night race. Mother's Day being that Sunday morning, Sunday the next day. It's been a Saturday night race for the last couple of years. It moves back to a Sunday, and now it moves to the last Sunday in May, happen to be May 31st.
Correct. So they're after the All-Star race and after the 500 or 600, excuse me. Mm-hmm. So kind of out in almost in no man's land. Weather should be good.
Well, it's interesting. They go Charlotte, Kansas, Michigan, Sonoma. So they're kind of making a little bit more of a little bit more of a sense as far as where they're going. But it's going to be a 2:00 in the afternoon race. No more night races for Kansas, and I'm okay with this because I think night races, they look pretty, but they don't do anybody any favors. Well, the ratings are down. The ticket sales are down. You run that same race on a Sunday afternoon, ticket sales are better, and the attendance is better.
Yeah, we can't say there'll be no more night races because they very well could still have some night races, and they probably will still keep their fall ARCA night race on Friday.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm talking about for Cup Series. They're both Sunday afternoon races this year. In 2020.
And haven't seen the truck or Xfinity schedule yet, but the fall Xfinity race has always been a day race, but we don't know if they'll run a Saturday night race with trucks maybe in the spring, possibly.
And Kansas moves to the first race in the round of 8 in 2020, October, same date, same rough date, October 18th. It's going to be a 2:30 race, but it's going to be the first race with the Charlotte Roval being the cutoff race the weekend before. Then the drivers will go to Texas for race number 2 in the round of 8. Then Martinsville will eliminate 4 cars, and then we'll go to Phoenix or ISM Raceway for the final race weekend, which is a weekend ahead of time, November 8th. And I think a lot of this has to just simply do with the calendar. They didn't take any weekends off or shift anything. I think the calendar just worked out to where we're going to get done a week earlier.
Well, that, and I mean, they totally revamped the playoffs. You know, I mean, we're not going to end at Homestead. We're going to end at Phoenix. The whole playoff deal is going to be totally different next year, and they've got the doubleheader in the middle of the year at Pocono.
Yep.
They're going to race a cup race on Saturday and come right back and race the other Pocono race on Sunday, which is something that's unheard of, so that'll be different. But a lot of the scheduling this year went around. They took a week off for the Olympics.
Yeah.
That isn't normal.
Which, I don't know why you do that. No, literally nobody watches the Olympics anymore. I mean, it's the ratings the last like 3 or 4 Olympics have been in the dump. But you do what your broadcast partner asks you to do. You be a good business person and go from there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that Pocono weekend does. If it works out, it may be something that sticks around and they leave it as that unique one, because we go to Pocono 5 weeks later after this year.
I was going to say 5 or 6 weeks.
It was like 5 weeks, so it's like, I mean, you're pretty much there anyway, so just hang around and do it again. But so yeah, that doubleheader is going to be incredibly unique. And Homestead, to your point, which has been the championship Sunday for a long time, is moving to March 22nd. So looks like the 8th or 9th race in the schedule. But Phoenix, I like that they're making adjustments to the playoff races and when those races are happening, because I think this is something that needs to happen every 2 or 3 years. Teams get really comfortable and begin to figure out a system and a strategy. Maybe leave the races, the tracks in there the same, but just shuffle them around. And I think it throws a little bit of a curveball to teams to where now we kind of freshen things up a little bit.
Well, I mean, we've got Bristol back. You know, Bristol's in there now in the playoffs next year. So that's a track that everybody likes, the short tracks. Everybody's been clamoring for them. So now at least you're going to have 2 short tracks in there. Actually 3, because Richmond's in there too, I think.
Yeah, Richmond. You go Richmond and then Bristol right away.
So, and those are also great weekends for the teams because they're just a couple-hour drive out of the Charlotte area, you know, where most of the teams are garaged. So it's another cost-saving deal. You're not flying across the country.
I hate the fact that they're ending the regular season at Daytona, but because I think this is just going to exacerbate the situation we're talking about coming up in a couple of weeks at Talladega, where the guys who are locked in, the guys you want to see racing up there regardless of their points position, are going to be hanging out in the back, not risking, or maybe necessarily not locked in, but have a pretty good chance of being up there. It's the thing we saw with Joe Gibbs Racing a couple of years ago. One of the reasons why NASCAR took Talladega off of the elimination race is because it ruined the racing for us.
Well, and the only thing that will make that a good race is if they are still racing for the regular season title.
Yeah.
That'll make that a good race.
Or if that person could be one, it's a winless person that actually wins, is in the top 25, and all of a sudden they punch their ticket on the last race. That could be one of the rare scenarios.
That would be an afterwards exciting. That's not going to make the race any good. The only
you don't think if I'm running second and I got an opportunity to punch my ticket into the playoffs, that's not gonna make it an exciting race?
No, because you're going to try that anyway. You know what I'm saying is this year, if it came down to the end and, you know, like I said, it's the last race and you had Truex and Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, any of the 3 of them could win the regular season title and get those extra bonus points. Those 3 guys are going to be racing their hearts out.
So the 2020 schedule gets released. Broadcast partners and times all released also, along with the Xfinity Series. A couple of Iowa races. Everything kind of stays the same for Iowa. I'm really keeping an eye on the Iowa 2021 schedule, but we're going to have to wait about a year before we find out about that. Although rumors and thoughts will start, or rumors will start swirling within the next 6 to 8 months on Iowa getting a cup race. I'm really banking on the fact that they are going to get a cup race, that they're going to take the race away from Indy, but that's more passion and want than logic.
Well, that's what we're all thinking, and hopefully somebody's listening or paying attention.
Could you guys just listen to us once? We got a little bit of sense of what we're talking about. The Indy race is terrible. Nobody goes to it. Nobody watches it. Iowa will do better. Iowa will definitely do better.
Yeah, and they don't need 100,000 seats because there's no track that's selling 100,000 seats, except Darlington probably did. They were packed.
Daytona and Talladega do. They've always sell very well because
yeah, but they've cut their stadiums in half.
Well, not in half.
Pretty close.
A little bit. But we've also had to make room for Fat America, though. I mean, the seats got much.
Yeah, but I mean, they took
wider.
all the grandstands out down the back straightaway at Daytona. They took them all out at Texas. I mean, all these stadiums are downsizing, and the reason is because people still want to buy the cheap seats there, which is where the less expensive seats were. Let's face it. And they still had to have restrooms there and concessions and all that kind of stuff, which now they don't have to man all that stuff. So
and amazing, you could buy a ticket on the backstretch at Daytona and see the race on the front stretch, which you can't at Indy, which is the reason why I will never go watch a race at Indy, other than the fact that I can't afford to.
I don't know if I was never in the grandstands at Daytona, and since they weren't mounted real high,
you
I don't
need
know
binoculars.
I don't know if you could see the front stretch.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in turn number 2. Myranda Cozad is going to join us, driver of Scooby-Doo. She's going to be at the CHI Health Center. Is that the actual name for it? CHI Health Center, right?
Yeah, you think it's a hospital building when you're driving across on the interstate.
I keep thinking I'm saying it wrong, but Miranda's going to be in Scooby-Doo this coming Saturday and Sunday for the Monster Jam. Get more information at tickets, monsterjam.com. We're going to talk to Myranda coming up in turn number 2. Make notes on the things that we ask her and what she answers, because that trivia is going to be coming up in turn number 4. Your chance to win 4 packs. And then in turn number 3, Chad Robb of fantasyracingtips.com is going to join us to talk about the elimination race today at the Charlotte Roval. We'll come back. We'll do a brief preview of Charlotte Roval. We'll get you set for all the things coming up in the next week a week to come. Hang on. I'm going to try to regroup. We'll be back on the front stretch.
Red Oak Fabrication is excited to announce they're expanding their powder coating business, which means quicker turnaround times at the same great price. Get all the benefits of a powder-coated chassis for just $275 for a bare frame. Ask Jordan about special pricing for large and small projects today. Email Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com. Located at the intersection of Highway 34 and 48 in Red Oak, Iowa, or at redoakfabrication.com. A beautiful and durable service is just down the road.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
The family with the 8-foot stainless grill is in. Bachelorettes hooting at the drivers are in. The tightwad dad doing a free parking fist bump.
Oh, yeah.
He's in. Nana with 6 speeding tickets. She's in. Cornhole aficionados and NASCAR newbies in and in. The Hollywood Casino 400 NASCAR playoff race at Kansas Speedway. Sunday, October 20th. Tickets at kansasspeedway.com. You in?
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Ready to do another Red Oak Fabrication interview. Boy, did the weather change quickly, and how quickly everything could change. You know, we've been talking for the last couple of months about how that guy broke loose underneath you, and now you need a new chassis, so you might as well go get it powder coated from Red Oak Fabrication. Well, there's still a couple of races to go. We have the October race coming up at Kansas Speedway, and there's no better way to stay warm than the Red Oak Fabrication Carhartt store located in Red Oak, Iowa. Find out more about the deals they have going on in September, and then the ones coming up in October by going to redoakfabrication.com/Carhartt. Great dealer. I know it's a little bit out of the way if you're in the Omaha area, but well worth your trip. Great specials, great deals, great hometown feel as you get into Red Oak, Iowa for the Red Oak Fabrication. Joining us on the show now, the driver of the Scooby-Doo Monster Jam truck. Her name is Myranda Cozad. Myranda, welcome to the front stretch.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I bet you are. It's just so exciting to talk to 2 guys that you've never met. But
Definitely. That too, but also about the show.
and you get to talk about racing and doing some pretty sweet tricks in your giant monster truck. Talk to me a little bit about how you got introduced into Monster Jam and how you ended up in the Scooby-Doo truck.
So I've been in motorsports pretty much my entire life. I'm an only child, and I like to joke and say that my dad wanted a boy because I've always been going to the racetrack with him and just been such a big tomboy. But I've been racing since I was like 16 years old, drag racing. And I basically, though, I mean, I've been in, like I said, all types of motorsports. And I just went to a Monster Jam show at one time and I met Medusa. Do you remember who Medusa is? She was the first woman in Monster Jam.
Yeah.
Yep. I met her at a show and I told her, I'm like, hey, I want to do this. This is what I want to do with my life. You know, I knew I wanted to do something in motorsports and I knew this was it. And she just, she liked how bold I was and how I just went up to her and told her I wanted to do this. And she helped me get in.
She just handed me the keys and said, there you go.
Yep. Well, there are no keys. But yes.
Well, that's good to know. So when I'm at the pre-party, I might be able to hop into one of these things and take off.
Well, if you can figure it out, which I don't think most people would.
I have a tough time figuring out my Colorado some mornings, so I'm not. Yeah, you're pretty safe there.
Oh, that's great.
So you went to one Monster Jam show, and then had you been in dirt racing before then? I know you talked about you've been in drag racing, you've raced a little bit, but until the point where you went to that Monster Jam show, you'd had a little bit of racing experience?
Oh, I had tons of racing experience. I've been racing since I was 16, and I met Medusa when I was about, I think, 24 or so. Okay. And at that time, I've won some really big name races and stuff in drag racing. So I have a lot of motorsports experience underneath my belt. By the time I met her, but I've been in pretty much every type of racing though. Like my dad, he used to race a dirt track, so I went to the dirt track when I was younger. I raced ATVs with an ex-boyfriend. I love any types of motorsports. So Monster Jam though, it's like the ultimate motorsport.
Is he an ex-boyfriend because you beat him too many times?
Pretty much, yeah. He's a sore loser, and no one likes getting beat by a girl.
Yeah.
In the drag racing, was it, were you running like super comp cars or were you in something a little quicker, maybe an alcohol dragster or something? Or
I was actually, oh man, I wish. That would be awesome. I actually just got my super comp license last fall though to go 220 in the quarter mile. So that was pretty stoked about that. But no, I actually have a Camaro that I have been racing for many, many years. Me and my dad, we built it together. I run about 11 O's with it. It's street legal, so I can drive it over there and back. And I actually ended up winning my class with a street legal car, and no other cars in my class was street legal, so that was kind of cool. So being the only female ever to win that championship at the drag strip that I raced at, and also to have the only street car that I drove it there and back, back home. So it was pretty neat.
So basically a super street class car, a 1090 drag car type thing.
Yeah, basically, yeah. My dad wanted something that I could, just drive over myself and was kind of low maintenance. And it's definitely the lowest maintenance you're going to get with any kind of, drag car for sure.
What's your inspiration? Who is your inspiration? Excuse me, either a current or past driver. Is it Medusa or is there somebody else?
Oh yeah, definitely Medusa. She has been in so many different types of things. I don't know if you knew she was in and still is associated with WWE wrestling too. So it's kind of cool. She's paved the way for many, many women in many different types of sports, but definitely Monster Jam for sure. I love Courtney Forrest. I love all the Forrest girls. They're awesome. Go out there. That's who I kind of looked up to when I was younger. Since I was into drag racing and stuff. Leah Pritchett. Honestly, like anybody in any kind of female in the sport, I have so much respect for because I know what it takes to be in this sport and how much it takes, and it's, in a male-dominated sport, we always get looked at, differently, obviously.
Yeah, do you feel like you've got a little more pressure on you because you're a female in a male-dominated sport?
I am so used to, pressure, honestly. So, I've been racing since I was 16, so pressure, I like it. I like to be the only female. I'm actually the only female on my tour right now, and I actually have been all year the only female. So I'm used to, being the only female and kind of, representing and showing, the ladies that you can go out there and do what you love and do what you're meant to do.
You get to do some really sweet tricks in these giant trucks on dirt. What's your favorite one to pull off?
I tell you what, they have invented some of the most crazy things, and if you're not keeping up with it, honestly, you have to keep up with. Everybody does moonwalks now, or it's like a base thing. You have to know how to do these tricks to even compete, basically. So we go to Monster Jam University, and Tom Mintz, he teaches us how to do all that stuff. But I love doing moonwalks. They're pretty neat. They take a lot of skill. They take a lot of balance, and you have to be very much aware of your truck. And being very comfortable because there's a very fine little hairline of going over on your lid or not being able to get in reverse. You just got to keep calm, though.
Well, you do multiple shows a weekend and several shows a month then. How often are you out in the middle of a run and you're like halfway through a trick and something's messed up? Like halfway through a backflip and you're going, this isn't going to go well. How often does that happen?
I actually have never got to do a backflip before.
Oh.
So, not intentionally, but
That's one of them that didn't go well.
Hey, you and me both.
Right.
I do backflips off the bar stool all the time.
Right. Honestly, there's times. We all make. No one's perfect. We all make driver errors and stuff, and we just go out there to try to put on the best show that we can. There's certain times, if you don't get lined up, perfectly square to a jump, you can break a lot of stuff. If you don't get lined up and hit it correctly, you can break a lot of stuff on the truck. Cut your run short. So. You have to be kind of aware, but it's also hard because you can't really see very well out of those things too. So you have to be very aware of your surroundings, and that has taken that just takes seat time too, basically.
Well, she said that drivers make mistakes. She obviously hasn't gone to the Kyle Busch School of Media Relations for racers.
Nope, definitely not yet.
Have you ever been to Omaha before, or is this your first time playing in the Midwest, or especially in the Omaha area?
Well, I'm actually not too far from you guys. I'm from Iowa. I'm from the Quad Cities. So I'm only about 4 hours from you guys, but I've never done a show in Omaha. But I have done a show in Lincoln. But Omaha will be new for me. I think we drove through Omaha to get to Lincoln.
Yeah,
right.
a lot of people drive through Omaha. It's
okay.
kind of
yep.
They
So
just don't stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
and speaking of that,
I'm excited.
I give Omaha a little bit of grief because, we are kind of one of the flyover states, but there's a lot to do. So do you get an opportunity to maybe get into the area a little bit early, maybe do a little bit of touring, and then while you're here, take some time between shows?
Honestly, we're so busy when we're in different states. Once in a great while, we'll have a little bit of downtime to see some of the sites and see some cool things. But normally, we just have we have shows, we have media, we have just so much going on that we don't have time to go anywhere or to do anything and see much. We're there for work and to do shows. But when we do have a little bit of downtime, which is very rarely, we do like to go see sites for sure.
Myranda Cozad, driver of the Scooby-Doo truck. She has won a lot. She's been in a drag car. She's raced ATVs. Pretty good looking. Asking for a friend. Are you single?
I am, yeah.
Okay, all right. Like I said, asking for a friend. All
Hey,
right.
now that I know you're in that part of Iowa, so are you hanging out at Cedar Falls Raceway? You going to Eddyville, Earlville? Where you going?
Yeah, those are all my tracks. I've been to all of them and I've raced all of them. Cordova is my home track, though.
Okay, yeah.
Cordova, Illinois.
I've been to Eddyville and to Cedar Falls. I used to have a Super Street Camaro, so when you started talking 11-second car, mine would top out at about 1040. Had to dial it back a little bit, but done some
awesome.
time over there.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, those are great tracks for sure. They're a little bit farther for me, probably about an hour and a half or so. Not too far, but Cordova is only about a half hour from me, so that's kind of nice to have such a home track so close. Have you ever been to Cordova?
No, I haven't. I haven't done any drag racing since '88, so I've been out of that a while. And
oh man, before I was born.
Thanks.
That happens a lot with him. MonsterJam.com for more tickets and information. The show's this coming Saturday and Sunday, featuring Gravedigger, Hurricane Force, Jailbird, Nitro Menace, Storm Damage, and of course Myranda in the Scooby-Doo truck. The gates are going to open up Saturday at noon for a 1 o'clock show, but there is a pit party at 10:30. That's a really, really cool thing that I think more fans need to take advantage of.
Oh, most definitely. Monster Jam is one of the only motorsports that actually does something like this. That you can go down there and interact with the drivers, get pictures, ask questions, get up close and personal with these humongous Monster Jam trucks. So definitely take advantage of it. That's honestly, that's our favorite part of the show. Obviously we all come from motorsports and we love driving, but meeting the fans is what makes our jobs what it is.
$15 to get into the show. Pay the extra freight and come out to the pit party that morning. Again, it's at 10:30 with the show at 1 o'clock, and then there's an evening show that night at 7 o'clock with gates open up at 6. Then you guys come back for your final show that day. Another pit party at 10:30. Gates open up at noon with the show at 1 o'clock. 3 shows in Omaha, October 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now, monsterjam.com. Pick them up at the window, just $15. But, of course, we've got more vouchers we're giving away all show long. Myranda, really do appreciate you coming on the show. It's been great talking to you. Can't wait to see you tear it up and take home the big trophy at the end of the night.
Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to it too, and that's what I plan on doing.
All right.
We'll come by and look you up Saturday morning.
Perfect.
Thanks, Myranda. Have a great one.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoy kind of a couple of the trucks. I always like the zombie truck because I think they went a little bit extra with some of the decorations on it. It's always a little bit tricked out. Of course, it's awesome to have Gravedigger, one of the more prominent names in Monster Truck and Monster Jam. But then I've never get to see Jailbird before and Storm Damage. I don't believe I've seen either of them.
I know I haven't been up close to those. I know they used to come every now and then to I-80, and I worked their souvenir trailer once back 15 years ago, roughly, and got to meet Tom Mentz and some of those guys, and they're all super nice guys. It's kind of like going to a Lucas Oil show, you know. As long as you talk to them before the race and not after, they're all actually halfway human.
Yeah, they might be a little upset after the races. Once again, $15 for your tickets. Get them at monsterjam.com in advances. This coming Saturday and Sunday, we've got to see them at the Mid-America Center. They always used to come into Council Bluffs like in January, and they had to leave the gates open.
February, March, yep.
They had to leave the doors to the outside open in order to aerate it properly.
Correct. And
it was always just a bitterly cold experience. I love the fact that they're in the slightly bigger CHI Health Center, formerly the CenturyLink, formerly the Quest Center, formerly the yada, yada, yada. But I love that they're in that bigger area because then they're going to get an opportunity to get up a little bit more speed, do some cooler tricks. MonsterJam.com for more tickets and information.
Well, and they can leave the doors open for the ventilation, and it'll be very comfortable.
And it won't be too bad.
It'll still be beer weather.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Stay tuned for the rest of the show. We've got 3 sets of tickets, 3 sets of family 4-packs left to give away. There's going to be trivia and more to be able to win those, so make sure you're tuned in and ready to go. 402-573-0590 is the number you're going to want to keep handy whenever we throw out that trivia question, and it's probably going to have something to do with something Myranda said during this interview we just did.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We love doing that. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. Chad Robb from FantasyRacingTips.com, just around the corner.
Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and Malvern Bank present the first annual Slick Track Series starting October 1st. Running each Tuesday in October, November, January, and February, you'll have a chance at nightly winter hardware, free races from Joe's Karting, and of course, a white knuckle and good time. First place wins $500 plus a 1-year VIP membership. A full schedule, payouts, and requirements can be found at joeskarting.com. The Malvern Bank Slick Track Series only at Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Your daughter's signing the finish line. She's in. Your grandpa air guitaring the pre-race concert. He's in. Soldiers saluting the flyover. They're all in. Fans holding their breath before a wreck. In. Drivers trash talking on your headset after the wreck. Definitely in. The Hollywood Casino 400 NASCAR playoff race at Kansas Speedway. Sunday, October 20th. Tickets at kansasspeedway.com. You in?
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole of the front stretch and the home of MAV TV, featuring action from the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Located on Mid-America Drive in Council Bluffs.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Ready to do another Red Oak Fabrication interview. Man, literally last week it was 90. This week I woke up Wednesday morning, it was 57 degrees, and I've started to dust off my winter wear. If your winter wear is getting a little bit aged and ready to get replaced, Red Oak Fabrication has a great Carhartt store located in Red Oak, Iowa. Make sure you look them up. RedOakFabrication.com/Carhartt. They've got monthly specials, great deals, and it's not just for us guys and the workers. There's some really cool fashions for the ladies, and there's some great kids apparel available down there too. Get warm when you head out to the racetrack over the next couple of weeks. RedOakFabrication.com/Carhartt. Carhartt. Joining us on the show now, the head of FantasyRacingTips.com. You're a part of the Yahoo, or you're part of a Fantasy Hall of Fame, right? I can't remember which one's it is.
It's really, it was organized by Yahoo. They took all their best players ever to play on their site. There's 14 of us and put us in the Hall of Fame.
That's really sweet. Chad Robb joining us now. FantasyRacingTips.com. Chad's going to help you get through to the end of the round, and Chad's going to help me get through to the championship round. By the way, Chad's going to help me win $1,200 because I took your advice and I ran down to Ameristar and I threw a pool of $60 on Kyle Larson winning the NASCAR championship. Not necessarily that you think he's going to win it, but if he gets into the round of 4, now you feel like he's got the best shot of anybody.
Hey, Chad,
I think so.
And he was explaining to me that didn't you tell me he was 60-1?
50-1. When Chad had sent me the text that Sunday or Monday, it was 50-1. By the time I got there, the ticket's in my front stretch jacket, but it ends up paying.
You said $1,240.
Yeah.
Which
for
makes
$60.
it about 20-1.
Yeah.
So the odds went up in the week, or it went. Yeah. The odds of
and
him
as of
winning
Monday,
went way up.
He's 17-1.
He's been running well. The next coming up round is really good for him. The track this weekend is really good for him. It's that round before the final 4 is what always gets him. So
yeah, he does have a tough time getting out of that, and I think that's the round at Kansas, right? Involves Talladega and Dover.
Yeah, the next round is Dover, Talladega, and Kansas.
He's had a tough time getting out of there before because I think he struggles at Kansas, and he's never been good at the super speedways. He's always had a difficult time.
Dover he's pretty good at, though.
But I figure, you know what? I've wasted $60 on other things.
Yeah.
James Rowland, the
all
pit
he's
reporter
got
at
to do
Eagle.
is get there.
Yeah.
If he can get there, he can win it.
James Rowland, the pit reporter at Eagle, and Stan Caesar, we were all talking about it one night in the booth at Eagle, and I said, my fantasy guy said, it's not he's got the best shot, but it's 50-1 odds.
Did you hear about the Formula One race last week? Not to go off topic real quick, but in Las Vegas.
Let's not go off topic on this show.
This guy in Vegas went up to this guy. He said, "Who you like this week?" He says, "I like this Formula One driver to post the fastest lap in a race." And so he looked at the odds. It was 1,000-1.
Wow.
And he said, 1,001. He ain't gonna post the fastest lap. He says, "Well, he hasn't raced all year, but he holds the record for fastest lap, and he posted the fastest lap last year." He said, "So I'll put some money down on him." So the guy checked his account. He had $20 in there. Put $20 in there. The last lap of the race, the guy posted the fastest lap. He came in and put fresh tires on, just to get that record. And posted fastest lap, and the guy won $20,000.
My God.
No, that's almost as good as the guy with one of the guys in Vegas bet. They got a parlay card, and he picked one with 20 teams, and he bet 89 cents. He got the first 19 teams right, and nobody knows if he went and hedged his 20th team. He probably could have hedged for, I'm thinking, $60,000, $70,000, to guarantee himself that kind of money. But it was Washington against the Bears. Why would you pick such a crummy game to make your last bet?
Holy cow. Well, we're talking NASCAR playoffs today at Charlotte at the Roval. It's the second time we're going to see the Roval. A slight change. They've made a few adjustments to it. Heard some responses. Watched the races last year. They made some changes to it. Last time we were at the Charlotte Roval, Kyle Larson won stage 1. Ryan Blaney won stage number 2, and Blaney went on to win the race, and it was one heck of a pileup in turn number 1. But the big thing about this race, it's a road course, so your road course ringers, and I'm not talking about Boris Said and these guys that come in and run one cup race. I'm talking Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin. These guys are really, really good at the road courses. Some of them have got a lot on the line today.
Yeah, I think you're going to see different styles of racing. Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., and Kevin Harvick, they're already locked into the next round. So they could be more aggressive. They could go after the stage wins, go after the race win and everything. The guys between Keselowski and Larson in the points, I look for them to be playing defense. Just get as many points as you can, try to run in the top 10, finish the race, and move on and put this behind you. And then all the guys behind Larson, all the way to Eric Jones, they have to be aggressive. They got to get as many stage points. This is the type of race where you can use fuel mileage to try to get some track position and stuff. I look for them to do that. And then you got Eric Jones, who got disqualified last week, so he's in a Hail Mary situation. He's got to win this race pretty much.
He's 45 points down, maximum 60 points available in a Cup Series win if you win Stage 1, Stage 2, and win the race. But you're requiring William Byron to finish basically outside of the top 35?
Well, and not be in the top 10 for either stage.
Right. It's basically keeping it really simple. Winner, you're out for Eric Jones.
I really like, for the race today, I really like those guys between Keselowski and Larson that need the points, that are going to score you as many points as possible. And Ryan Blaney, he is really good on road courses. He won this race last year. He finished third at Sonoma earlier this season. He finished fifth at Watkins Glen. He'll be really good. Clint Boyer is always historically a good road course racer. Kurt Busch. I think all these guys are going to be up front today.
So the question I've asked you 100 times, and I'm going to ask you again, much like I used to do with my parents. I'm going to keep asking them until I get the answer I want. But you keep answering it the way that you do it because you're the guy in the Fantasy Hall of Fame. But if I'm looking at a driver to pick today, am I looking harder at Almirola, Byron, Bowman, Boyer, Busch, and Jones because they've got more to lose if they take it easy? Or am I looking more at Blaney, Newman, Larson, and Elliott because they need to gain as many points to carry into the next round?
It really depends on what type of game you're playing. In your fantasy game where you get stage points and everything like that, I think it's better to go after these guys that are kind of in the middle of points that are going to use pit strategy to try to get some track position to finish up front and everything. But if you're in a game that doesn't score stage points or anything like that, you just get points for where they finish in the race, then either go after the Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, the guys that are just out there trying to win.
So you still didn't give me the answer I want. Because I'm looking at it, and again, I've never won a fantasy contest, so maybe it's just flawed thinking, but I'm looking at Clint Boyer going, he's good at road courses. If this race was 1 week ago, I wouldn't be looking at Clint Boyer nearly as hard as I am today because Boyer's got to gain 4 points on William Byron to get by him and move on to the next round. So I'm looking at him just a little bit harder going into the race at Charlotte.
My advice is take Blaney or Chase Elliott. Those are my 2 top picks. If you're staying away from Martin Truex, then I would go with Blaney or Elliott.
Well, and just think how close Martin Truex came to winning this race last year. Wasn't this when he got tangled up with Jimmy Johnson late in the race, way up in the front?
Jimmy Johnson punted him?
Oh, yes, that's what I meant by tangled up, when Jimmy Johnson moved him.
And Chase Elliott's been really good at the road courses. He's won the last 2 at Watkins Glen. He finished he finished third in this race last year, and he was running fourth at Sonoma this year when his engine blew. So he would have 4 top 5s in a row with 2 wins. I tell you what, if Truex wins today, he could get on a big roll because the next coming up tracks, you got Dover and Kansas.
Got his first win at Dover.
And he is really good at Dover. He's really good at Kansas. And Talladega, he probably won't
That's
even.
a crapshoot for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Well, if he win, the best thing he could do is win at Dover. Honestly, though, the bonus points he has right now, he could finish good at Dover, cruise through Talladega, and still qualify even if he blows an engine at Kansas.
Yeah.
Talladega, again, is the wild card for that round is because he could either walk away with, obviously 60 points if he sweeps the day. He could probably walk away with somewhere around 30 points, or he could walk away with 1 if he's involved in an early accident.
The driver that I like because of the news this week in that Talladega race? Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Yeah.
He don't need to make any friends anymore.
He wasn't making
He
it
never
before.
has.
No, that's true. But, he's out of a job now. So, he'll just drive right through everybody at Talladega just to win that race.
He'll probably be in that David Reagan ride next year.
You think so?
Maybe.
I
do.
wonder where he's going to land. It's going to be interesting. But, all right, coming back to this, the Charlotte Roval today, you've talked about the guys you think they should be taken. You're leaning closer to the Elliott and Blaney. Obviously, Blaney, very good at the Charlotte Roval. Won this last year. He won the inaugural race. He is a pretty good road course racer, and Penske needs to start getting on a bit of a roll.
Yeah. I like them too. And Eric Jones has actually been really good on the road courses. You got to figure Joe Gibbs Racing is going to give him the best car they got available. And if he's run, my question is, if he's running, say, second or third and Truex is, just in front of him, are they going to miss a corner? So.
See, and everyone always suspects that, and I think that with the way this system is and the way drivers are, I don't think Martin Truex Jr. is ever going to give up a win for a teammate.
Kyle Busch ain't.
No, right, absolutely. Yeah. And the fact that if the bonus points that Martin Truex Jr. gets if he wins at Charlotte will really help him if he has an issue at Talladega and Kansas, because we've seen it with was it Kyle Larson a few years ago, blew engines 2 races in a row and was
Truex
out.
did too.
And was that the year? Would he get eliminated that year too?
Yep.
Yeah, because he went into Talladega in a pretty good shape, blew 2 engines early in the races, 2 races in a row, and all of a sudden I think he got eliminated by just a few points.
Kyle Larson did. Yeah, he was hoping. I think it was Jimmy Johnson that edged him out, and Johnson had some pit road trouble, but still beat him by like 2 points.
And if you want a real sleeper today, a guy that's not on the radar that nobody's going to probably pick in your league is Matt DiBenedetto. He finished 4th at Sonoma. He finished 6th at Watkins Glen, and he finished in the top 10 here at the Roval last year. So he's actually a really good road course racer.
DiBenedetto?
Yeah.
Matty D, as I prefer to call him.
Yeah.
And he's been very solid. That 95 team is coming on very strong at the end of the year. We're really starting to learn some of the stuff they're taking in from Joe Gibbs Racing. We're starting to see it turn into a real furniture row. We'll see what it does next year with Christopher Bell taking over that ride. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Matty D does today. So you think he's going to be the dark horse?
Him and Michael McDowell are my dark horses. Michael McDowell grew up racing those Grand Am street cars. And last year he actually led a couple laps in this race. So if he's going to get to the front, he's going to need some help from his crew chief getting some track position. But he's got the talent to run in the top 15.
FantasyRacingTips.com. It is not too late to subscribe today, and with sports betting being legal in Iowa, you can win your money back really, really quickly. FantasyRacingTips.com. Chad, always do love having you on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
FantasyRacingTips.com. Once again, thanks a lot, Chad. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in turn 4.
As summer winds wind down, those chilly nights at the racetrack are just around the turn. Stay warm while looking good, cheering on your favorite driver with Carhartt from Red Oak Fabrication. Since 1889, Carhartt has proven their mettle from the trenches of World War I to the toughest job sites today. Browse the large selection at the Red Oak Fabrications Carhartt store and get $5 off pants until September 29th. RedOakFabrication.com/Carhartt or at the corner of North 3rd and East Grimes in Red Oak.
Defending NASCAR champ Joey Logano is in. Last year's race winner Chase Elliott is in. Pit crews racing against the clock in. Drivers in the lead, drivers on the bubble, and drivers that come out of nowhere definitely in. Oh, and sports fans who live for the playoffs, they're all in. The Hollywood Casino 400 Playoff Elimination Race at Kansas Speedway, Sunday, October 20th. Tickets at KansasSpeedway.com. You in?
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. Joe'sKarting.com for more information.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Just about ready to wrap this baby up. Rolling into turn number 4, and it's going to be a rather quick one because we went a little bit long in turn 1. And, of course, we talked to Myranda in turn 2 and Chad in turn 3. So right now, call up Craig, 402-573-0590. We asked Myranda generally where she was from, and she brought it up. There's one key word that she said is where she is from. It's in Iowa, and she gives an area. Like we say,
it's a general description.
Right. There you go. That's what I'm trying to. I'm saying it without saying it because then I give you the answer. 402-573-0590. First person to answer that correctly is going to get a 4-pack of vouchers to Monster Jam this coming Saturday and Sunday. They're good for any one of these shows. There's 3 total shows. Just get to the ticket window ahead of time, turn these 4 tickets in. You can also upgrade if you want to, and I highly suggest that you turn the tickets in and you go to the pit party at 10:30 on Saturday or 10:30 on Sunday. But 402-573-0590, first person to call up and tell us what area in Iowa is Myranda from? All right, we've got 2 more packs we're going to be giving away before turn 4 wraps up, before we close today's show. Boy, we got a lot coming up in the next week of events, and something we're going to start doing more often. In fact, we're probably going to do it on a weekly basis for the next couple of weeks on Tuesday nights. We're going to run down to Quaker Steak and Lube for a couple of hours, and we're going to interview dirt track champions, and we're going to focus on Eagle Raceway this coming Tuesday night. Trevor Grossenbacher, who is the Race Saver champion at Eagle Raceway, not able to join us. He's a little bit too busy, so he's going to call in and talk to us on the phone. But Gunnar Pike, Sport Mod Track champion, has confirmed to join us. Anthony Roth, A-Mod champion, has confirmed to join us, along with hobby stock driver Jeff Ware has confirmed to join us. And we got confirmation from special guest Billy Lloyd, who was the longtime flagman at Eagle Raceway, announced just a few weeks ago that he was going to be stepping down and retiring from Eagle Raceway. Said he wants to come down. I said, why don't you come down and tell us kind of some of the stories you've had on the stand and the idea behind why you're retiring. I know he loved doing what he does, and it's going to be a tough retirement for him. So this coming Tuesday night, 2 days from now, you can go down to Quaker Steak and Lube and you can watch us interview. We're going to have the speakers set up so you guys can be able to hear it, and then we're going to play them back over the next couple of weeks. Next Tuesday, we're going to do I-80 track champions, and once we get kind of a more confirmed schedule, I know we're going to talk to Adams County, Shelby County, and Crawford County.
Well, we're going to try and get all the area guys.
Absolutely, and we're trying to get drivers out to the fans, so that way you can meet and talk with these people. We're going to have a fan mic set up, so that way you can come over and ask questions if you want to. It's going to be a good time. We're going to do a couple of Facebook Live videos, but most of the on-air content is going to be saved for the radio. One of our great sponsors, by the way, Quaker Steak and Lube, a great sponsor of this show.
No compact driver coming on Tuesday?
Hasn't confirmed yet.
Okay.
I'm trying to get Cole to come out, but he read the message. He didn't confirm me on Facebook as of recording this Thursday night, but make sure you follow the event page on Facebook. Follow it through the front stretch, and we're going to get you guys out there. Stan Caesar said that he is going to try to make it down and kind of help us because he watched all these races unfold throughout the year. So I always like having the announcers for the racetrack come, especially with Adams County, Shelby County, well, especially with those tracks that we weren't there to watch these guys race. So it's always nice to have their announcer come out and kind of help us do these interviews because they know the little stories that we didn't get to see on the weekly basis because we didn't make it out to the racetrack.
Right. And then you can also scoot on over to Joe's Karting and take a few laps on the slick track.
I want to say a big thank you to Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the front stretch. You can catch all of the action for today's race at Charlotte on the big screens at Quaker Steak. Starting at 1 o'clock. That's when all the picks are due. The broadcast is on NBC, and the radio partner is PRN. The coverage, I believe, starts at 1:30 with the green flag waving at 2 o'clock. So make sure you get on. If you don't have TV, you don't have the NBC or PRN, you can always get out of Quaker Steak and Lube and watch it live in person. Great beer specials, great food specials on Sundays. By the way, another advantage to doing it Tuesday nights.
All you can eat wings.
That's right. I'm going to be getting me a big old thing of Arizona Ranch wings. This is my favorite sauce for the last 6 years. I used to have the tire cracker. I thought that was really good, but once I found Arizona Ranch, delicious. Perfect. And by the way, if you need any recommendations on what to eat while you're at Quaker Steak and Lube, just ask this guy. And by the way, I'm tapping my belly if you can't see it on radio and you're watching on Facebook Live. But I know the good food to eat at Quaker Steak and Lube. I will not let you down.
Are you a regular there?
I'm slightly irregular.
I thought I saw that chair with your name on it.
I need to enunciate that. I'm slightly a regular. I got to be really careful and enunciate that. Dirt Shirts USA announced their next line of limited shirts available. It's going to feature Bill Martin, who's a legendary driver in the area.
Yes, sir. Bill Martin and the Harry's Performance #1 cars. So if you're going to buy that T-shirt and you don't buy it in orange, you need to be hit in the head.
You need to be helped. The Alzheimer's Association walk that I was a big part of and tried to raise money for, the walk has been rescheduled. What did I tell you? What did I tell you off the air? I said they're going to reschedule for the weekend we're at Kansas.
Yeah.
It got rescheduled for Saturday, October 19th. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to walk, but my dog Shadow, my great-girlfriend Sarah are going to still walk in honor of my my aunt who is battling Alzheimer's, the Alzheimer's disease. So, if you still want to contribute to that, you can go over to my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. I've been sharing it on a daily basis, trying to get to the $2,500 because, God honest, when we're doing these recordings, I will do the Triple Atomic Challenge if I reach my $2,500, and I will continue to do the interviews while I am crying from the heat. I'll add that in there as a little bit of added bonus for if we can get to the $2,500.
I did read an article this week that's interesting about Alzheimer's and dementia in general. That there's a lady now claiming, her and her son are claiming, she's 82 years old, and that by changing her diet to be very heavily eating blueberries and walnuts, that like 90% of her symptoms disappeared and her memory came back. She went from not recognizing her son to,
that would be amazing.
Exactly.
If it could be that simple, it would be amazing.
Well, and I'll guarantee, or I certainly hope that the people that run the research on this stuff are taking that as a serious look and trying to figure out what's in. I mean, I know blueberries are loaded with antioxidants. I know they're supposed to be really healthy for you, but I also know from personal experience they might as well be prunes. A lot of fiber in them little bad boys.
The Alzheimer's Walk has been rescheduled, still at Stinson Park. I'd love for you to come out and support the Alzheimer's Association. I'm going to have a third yellow flower in my cubicle area, and I hope and pray for the day that we get to have the white flower. If anybody has been a part of the Alzheimer's Association, they're waiting to give that white flower out, and that will be a huge thing. And then what else? Once again, we've got the recording session on Tuesday night. It's free to come out. It doesn't cost you anything, although you're not going to come to Quaker Steak and Lube and not get dinner and have a beer, but you're going to have a great conversation. All the drivers that have T-shirts or merchandise available are going to bring it, and we're going to have a good old time down at Quaker Steak and Lube just doing a recording session. So hope you can join us. Hope you have fun with us. Dirk, that's going to do it for us today, although I need to give out one more voucher, and I don't even know off the top of my head. What's another good trivia question we can ask? Oh, I did think of one. Who was the inspiration that Myranda went and talked to that got her into Monster Jam? Who was that? 402-573-0590. Who was the inspiration that got Myranda into Monster Jam? All right, that's going to do it for us today. We're going to be back at it next weekend as we're going to recap who got eliminated at Charlotte, who's still in contention at Dover. We'll get you set for all sorts of great stuff. And by the way, we got to say thanks to Kansas Speedway for helping to present the front stretch. Get tickets for the Hollywood Casino 400 at kansasspeedway.com or call 866-460-RACE. That's going to do it for us today. For Dirk Houston, I'm Dan Taylor. This has been the front stretch on AM 590.
Defending NASCAR champ Joey Logano is in. Last year's race winner Chase Elliott is in. Pit crews racing against the clock in. Drivers in the lead, drivers on the bubble, and drivers that come out of nowhere definitely in. Oh, and sports fans who live for the playoffs? They're all in. The Hollywood Casino 400 playoff elimination race at Kansas Speedway, Sunday, October 20th. Tickets at kansasspeedway.com. You in?
The official watering hole of the front stretch has you covered any day of the week with the best wings, great burgers, and amazing steaks. Each weekday from 4 to 6 is happy hour, featuring $1 off draft and well drinks plus $4 Luberitas. Mondays are kids' night. Tuesdays are all-you-can-eat wings for $12.95, and the lube even delivers to the Council Bluffs area. Like Quaker Steak and Lube Council Bluffs on Facebook for a full list of weekly events.
Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Mid-America Drive, Council Bluffs.
Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and Malvern Bank present the first annual Slick Track Series starting October 1st. Running each Tuesday in October, November, January, and February, you'll have a chance at nightly winter hardware, free races from Joe's Karting, and of course, a white knuckle and good time. First place wins $500 plus a 1-year VIP membership. A full schedule, payouts, and requirements can be found at joeskarting.com. The Malvern Bank Slick Track Series only at Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
This has been the Front Stretch Radio Show, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. To contact Dan or Dirk, find them on Facebook at The Front Stretch or email them at frontstretch590@gmail.com. If you missed any part of today's show or want to hear a previous show, subscribe to the Joe's Karting YouTube page, where you can find almost every Front Stretch show.